Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on Nta News24. Live from Abuja, I am Olajide Bello. First, the headlines. Minister of Works urges agencies to unlock new sources of funds to reduce dependency on federal allocations. Medical experts champion a promising future for conjoined twins. Dangote refinery reduces price of petrol to 970 naira per litre. Excellent leadership qualities at subnationals pivotal to renewed hope delivery, leadership expert emphasis.
How do we bring the hope President Tinubu is talking about on the economy, on our political system?
And now the 16th edition of the annual National Agricultural Show is on. Let's join our correspondent Okwe Alabi at kilometer 28 along Abuja Kefi Road, the permanent site of the Agric Show, with Nigeria's food security on the front burner of this year's edition. Okwe, if you can hear me, what's happening out there? What are the stakeholders in the agricultural sector bringing to the table afresh?
It's been a very good time to be at this National Agricultural Showground along Kefi Road. The theme of this year is incentivizing the smallholder farmers to scale the attainment of food security in 2025. You will recall that between the last show and now, the federal government created the Ministry of Livestock Development. Of course, is another added advantage and a boost to the agricultural sector. Of course, many of the farmers that will be attending this show this year will be coming with a lot of things they have done, what they intend to do, and a lot of steps to be taken going forward to ensure that Nigeria achieve food sufficiency. I have the spokesperson of the Agric Show with me, Mr. Musa Adamu. He is going to tell us what exactly we're expecting this year. Mr. Musa, please can you come closer?
Good morning, Nigerians. I've been introduced already, but what we're going to do this year, just like other years, yesterday was the arrivals. We had some states that arrived yesterday. Today is the commencement, the real commencement, which is the 25th. We will be having the opening ceremony on the 26th Tuesday, that will be tomorrow, where dignitaries are expected. We are expecting Mr. President to personally grace this event this year. The last that was graced by the president, the sitting president, was Olusegun Obasanjo. But subsequently, we had presidents sending their representatives to come and grace the occasion, and that tells you the importance attached to agriculture in this country. So this year, we are working assiduously to ensure that Mr. President himself, or his high caliber, highly placed, abled representative to come and talk to us, because this is the only national agricultural event. I'm open to be quoted wrongly, but this is it. We don't have any platform where all Nigerians, agricultural stakeholders, be you directly a particular or a stakeholder, you come to meet those that you can partner with, you can liaise with, you can have contact that are mutually beneficial to you. This is the only ground that provides such opportunity. So if Mr. President has any key or critical program that has in mind for agriculture, this is where he will come and unveil it. So we are hoping Mr. President will be here tomorrow, and who's going to be, by the grace of God, the guest speaker, the keynote guest speaker, and the two ministers still be here. Before the creation of the livestock and livestock development, we had gone very far. We had gone very far in our program arrangement and the rest. But then from next year, livestock development is going to be key as the the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is in the National Agri Show. So that is where we are. By Wednesday, by the grace of God, we will be having seminar. This seminar is always coming back to back with the National Agricultural Show because it is one of the key events that defines agricultural show. During the seminar, experts are invited, papers are presented, comments are taken, observations are made, and a lot of documentations are made and it's basically about the youth and women in agriculture. Because as they say, catch them young is the in thing.
Okay, well, as they say, catch them young is the in thing. I also have Dr. Nathan Francis is the Director of Veterinary Services from Taraba. He's one of the early comers at this National Agri Show. What's your insight into what we're expecting this year?
Thank you very much. As you can see, Taraba State is already on ground, and the slogan in town now is about food security. Every Nigerian is aware of the rising cost of foodstuff, and that is why food security has now taken the national banner, and that is where Taraba State will come in to fix some of these lapses. As you know, Taraba State is an agrarian state. The soil is good, the weather is good, and then the array of crops that Taraba State is producing is just second to none. And what remains now is for the government to tap in, because the production is done at the subsistence level. We need to up our game. And that is why the state government has come in under the leadership of Dr. Agbukefas to supply agri inputs, fertilizer, seeds, agri-chemicals to these local farmers so that food production can increase.
Well, I'm very sure everybody wants food production to be in abundance. And from what is happening here, I believe by the time this agri show will be concluded, a lot of insights will be given to how and why Nigeria's food sufficiency is going to be realized. Jide, it's back to you in the studio. We'll continue to update you as the program unfolds.
Many thanks, correspondent Takwe Alabi, for your input. Now, away from agriculture, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has effected a reduction in its current price of petrol from 990 litre to 970 litre per naira for the marketers. A statement by Anthony Chijiena, Group Chief Branding and Communications Officer, says the gesture is a way of appreciating the good people of Nigeria for their unwavering support in making the refinery a dream come true. The statement also thanked government for their support and measures put in place to encourage domestic enterprise for the nation's collective well-being. While the refinery would not compromise on the quality of its petroleum products, Dangote assures Nigerians of quality products that are environmentally friendly and sustainable. The company reiterates determination to keep ramping up production to meet and surpass domestic fuel consumption, thus dispelling any fear of a shortfall in supply. The Minister of State Works, Mohammed Bello Goroyo, has urged agencies under the Ministry of Works to engage in unlocking new sources of funding to reduce dependency on the federal government allocation. The minister was speaking at a meeting with heads of the agencies on the heels of a formal handover of the supervision of the agencies to his office.
The meeting kick-started with a formal introduction of the Minister of State Works.
Well, it brings me to the introduction of our new Minister of State, Right Honorable Bello Goroyo. Did I get it right?
Then the Minister of State set the tune of the meeting with a tip of his leadership style, which aligns with that of his boss.
I came with a commitment to work and serve my dear country, Nigeria. So I want to urge you to extend the same support and loyalty that you are giving to my elder brother, so that together we can realize our dreams and aspirations for a better country, Nigeria.
To the heads of the agencies, a new approach to wealth creation becomes pertinent.
Those problems, and we cannot sit down and begin to lament that we don't have funding, we don't have this, we don't have that. We have to get out of the box and do something that will change the narratives.
We're also looking at see how we can maximize the cost savings and efficiency gains within the work we do in the agency.
The Honorable Minister for State, Barrister Bello Owoye, we want to welcome you to our midst. We defeat both Nigerians and other nationals living in this country.
The meeting ended with assurances for a better output that impacts positively on the lives of citizens. Abdullah Mohammed, Nta News.
Adequate knowledge is vital for the formulation of valuable policies and propelling good governance. Against this backdrop, leadership experts want those heading organizations in Nigeria to advance knowledge and skills through right leadership training to drive development for the country. Joseph Utsen reports this was at the Abuja Leadership Center 2024 Leadership Series.
Though leadership experts have proven that leaders and followers both play a crucial role in steering good governance, they believe a leader with advanced knowledge and skills galvanizes and brings the best out of the followers.
With dedication, with passion, you are likely to inspire people who will do their bit, and when we harness our collective talents, our collective efforts, our collective endeavor, that is how countries grow.
To improve leadership quality in the country, Nigeria's Tertiary Education Trust Fund decided to establish more centers of excellence responsible for research and teaching of leadership and public governance.
Small-scale businesses.
This initiative gave birth to the Abuja Leadership Center 2 years ago. At its 14th leadership series, the major message is centered on moving Nigeria beyond hope.
So what is the hope all about? How do we articulate this hope? How do we bring this hope to bear on the life of the citizens? How do we bring the hope President Tinubu is talking about on the economy, on our political system? So yes, the mantra is good, the vision of President Tinubu is good, but it is left for us, the followers, it is left for the citizens to really align themselves.
We should be having generational blueprints that would point out to the citizens how best and how far we can go as a nation.
I've learned a lot of skill. I've learned how policy are formulated and implemented. Gone are the days that I felt people just sit at the comfort of their home and formulate policy.
Those people in government need such a center for them to be able to actually transform their policy into reality, so that at the end of the day, what they are trying to formulate will make more sense for the people out there to be able to assimilate and digest.
One of the key requirements to acquire a master's degree at the center is for students to go back to their communities to mentor, educate, and inspire young Nigerians through a program called Leadership Youth Clinic. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Ministries and parastatals are encouraged to sensitize Nigerians on government policies and programs. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works, Dr. Yakubu Adam Kofa-Mata, gave this encouragement during an exclusive interview with NTA. He says the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is executing several projects aimed at addressing the socio-economic problems of Nigerians, and the public need to know these programs and actions taken by the federal government. He says the administration has pledged to complete all road projects inherited from previous administration, while new road projects have been awarded across the country. Dr. Yakubu says immediate action is also taken on Abuja-Kaduna Road to address its deplorable condition before new contractors will start final works on the road. You're watching the news at 10 on Nta News24. More reports when we return. Thanks for being there. Now, NTA persistently reported on the devastation caused by erosion at Ovom Aba, Abia State, where the state government has responded by awarding a contract to fill the erosion and asphalt the road. Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports.
This is what the erosion site looks like before Governor Alex Oti awarded a contract to fill the earth and asphalt the road.
We will do sizable drainages when we get to the formation level. We do sizable drainages to take care of the storm water that actually caused the erosion in the first place. So we're doing drainage to take care of the storm water that is coming in, and we'll do stone base. After that, I will do the final phase, which is asphalt, 2 layers of asphalt on top of it.
The erosion has submerged worship centers, shops and houses, forcing many to relocate out of fear. Just as many can no longer access their homes due to the ravaging erosion.
And people know they can't buy something again for our hand because of the bad road.
It has not been easy for us, based on the erosion and everything. We experienced a lot here, based on erosions and the water flows. It has not really been easy for us here. But based on what I'm seeing, I think the governor is really trying.
Now, an indigenous construction company is now on site to change the narratives. The first phase of clearing the debris and filling the deep is ongoing, as the company promised to finish up the job in 4 months.
A lot of people are beginning to heave a sigh of relief because the governor, Alex Oti, has come to their rescue as he has awarded contract to fill the road and asphalt it. In Aba, Ikechukwu Ndukwe, NTA News.
In a bid to restore peace and security in Isolu, Yagba East local government area of Kogi State, Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has convened an emergency security meeting in Lokoja to address the indigents of Isolu and the Fulani settlers after the latter alleged that one of them was killed by indigents of the community. The governor summoned the emergency security meeting to listen to both sides in order to take actions that will guarantee peace and forestall reprisal attacks. A statement on Monday by the State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo, the meeting was held successfully as both parties subscribed to the governor's position of embracing peace and dialogue. The governor frowned at a situation where people would take laws into their hands by killing fellow humans, saying such is not acceptable and the perpetrators will face the full wrath of the law. He has directed that some traditional rulers in the affected areas be properly interrogated in order to get the root of the matter. He also directed that a particular traditional ruler be suspended due to his role in the saga. The chairman of the local government area, Dare Joshua, thanked the governor for his swift action at averting a major security breakdown in the local government area. Kingsley Femi Fanwo, Commissioner for Information and Communication of Kogi State, reaffirms. In view of the evolving nature of security challenges globally, the Nigerian Army says it is ensuring that all operational, administrative and logistics requirements are addressed through needs assessment and efficient use of funds to meet global standards. The Chief of Army Staff, General Olufemi Oluyede, gave this assurance to the participants at the 2024 Directorate of Procurement's fourth quarter seminar, where it's called for collaborative efforts to tackle the threats facing the nation.
I wish to reiterate that the enormous security challenges facing our country demand a call to all Nigerians to forge a formidable team spirit to tackle the security issues. The Nigerian Army is intensifying its collaborative efforts with the services and other security agencies to decisively address these threats.
The Nigerian Army procurement system focused on the acquisition of new capabilities and platforms, provision of operational and logistics items, construction of accommodations and infrastructures, as well as the maintenance of existing structures and equipment.
Is adapting to Nigeria's economic fluctuations in defense procurement options for the Nigerian Army. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is advocating the need for stakeholders to take action against substance abuse, especially among youth, to stem the tide of rising cases of juvenile delinquencies and crimes in the society. The former president was speaking at the special advocacy campaign against drug abuse tagged Fly Above the High, held in Abeokuta, Ogun State. Hakim Jimo reports.
Fly Above the High is a supportive movement against drug abuse. While recounting his story as a former drug addict, the Vice President, Recovery Advocacy Network, Abubakar Salame, believes that rehabilitation of drug addicts is possible at any point of their lives.
I believe with love and mentorship, you can bring people out of this dark place. You know, information is power. There are people that are lost in this place, but they don't know there is a way out.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo advocates the need for stakeholders to take action against substance abuse now to prevent recurring cases of crimes and criminalities in the society.
Either you are tempted by whatever peer, friend, loved one, whoever, the answer, don't hide if you seek help. If you make effort, you can get out of it.
Participants suggest strict legislation against substance abuse as a way out of the menace.
These substances are not supposed to be available. The availability is much in our environment. So that primordial level is very important, where government legislates, strict legislation, and then of course making sure that those legislations are implemented.
If that awareness is created from the school level, family level, and there's a political will and support for that awareness, then we'll be able to cut the use.
There are some parts in the brain that does not need your consent to function. So when you take drug, it makes your brain works abnormally.
One can overcome the addiction through God and through seeking counseling.
The Enlightenment program metamorphosed into a panel discussion where the panelists encouraged Nigerians to shun substance abuse in its entirety. In Abeokuta, Hakim Jimo, Nta News.
The National Population Commission says it has registered over 185,300 children in the ongoing childbirth digital registration between the ages of 0 to 5 years in Kogi State. This came to the fore at a stakeholder sensitization forum on e-birth registration organized by the National Orientation Agency in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital. Solomon Ayedeng reports.
The meeting aims at sensitizing media practitioners and other stakeholders in Kogi State on the renewed efforts of the federal government towards having the identities of Nigerians collated in a centralized digital portal. The initiative focuses on digital registration of birth of children from ages 0 to 5 years, launched by the UNICEF in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency and the National Population Commission. Director General, National Orientation Agency, represented by the State Acting Director, describes birth registration as the first legal instrument safeguarding their rights and privileges. He affirmed that the ongoing sensitization to enhance compliance in Kogi State has been successful in 10 pilot local government areas of the state, announcing its commencement in the remaining 11 local government areas.
If we do the right thing, the national population censuses we keep carrying out every year, every 10 years, may not be necessary.
Kogi State Head of Vital Registration, National Population Commission, Mrs. Omar Tarali, explains that 940 volunteers have been engaged, trained and equipped with Android phones for the exercise in line with the directive of the Commission. Out of the 211,314 targets set for Kogi State Office of the NPC, 185,304 children have so far been registered. She expressed optimism that with the collaboration of the media and other stakeholders, the state is sure of surpassing the set target. Other stakeholders expressed commitment to supporting the initiative to succeed in Kogi State.
There is this harmonization committee that has been set up by the federal government. We have 14 agencies in Nigeria that make use with various ID cards. So this committee is being headed by the vice president, NIMSI, CBN, name it. Very soon now, that what we call harmonization that will be taking place. In thereby now you can just be reduced to one card.
The exercise is expected to end next month. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
Another break beckons. The news continues in a moment. Glad to know you're still there. Fresh concerns are tasking global health champions in navigating through the hurdles to solve issues of immediate priorities. And one of such is that of conjoined twins, and the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center is providing the platform. Away in Riyadh, correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports that the 2024-2025 International Conference of Conjoined Twins is craving a new agenda for a promising future for patients.
The 2024 and 2025 Conjoined Twins Conference holding in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, is a global phenomenon seeking sincere answers to many questions left to only one man to solve, the Saudi monarch, King Salman bin Abdulaziz. Now ovations are high as number of patients for the single fertilized egg that splits and develops into two individuals, commonly known as conjoined twins, are becoming more alarming for one individual to address.
The King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center is not only, spreading its tentacles around the world, but it has its own stopover in Nigeria.
Nigeria is also a major beneficiary, as 3 different families have successfully undergone the experience with all their babies hale and hearty, a gesture that cut across 26 countries with 143 cases and 61 pairs, now leading top conversation by experts.
Hundreds of thousands of children dying every year because of congenital anomalies, and conjugated twins is one of these important congenital anomalies.
It's an incredible humanitarian initiative that not only would serve the areas around us, but somewhere around the world.
It's really a turning point, and we are really glad to be invited, and I'm very honored to be invited by King Salman Relief and its partners.
Panelists say with detection of the problem at early stage of pregnancy, safe abortion at instances of major health complications, and regular antenatal services, chances of mortalities and deformation can be brought to a controllable limit.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, through its Foreign Affairs Ministry, is pursuing a strong commitment with the United Nations for the declaration of 24th November of every year as World Conjoined Twins Day. This is to raise global awareness and to seek greater partnership in meeting international demands of stemming the health challenge, especially in developing countries. In Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, I am Habubakar Akwanga, Nta News.
Back in Nigeria, the Nasarawa state government is stepping up campaign to reduce the burden of cervical cancer in the state with vaccination of more than 2,000 girl child within the age group of 9 to 14. This was disclosed at a stakeholders engagement of the Nasarawa State Primary Healthcare Development Agency in Lafia. Victoria Ojito reports.
Findings show that human papillomavirus, which is the leading cause of cervical cancer, is responsible for 95% cases of cancer in Nigeria and second most common amongst women in Nigeria. With more than 8,000 deaths recorded in 2020, Nasarawa state government launched a campaign against human papillomavirus in October 2023, which lasted for 7 days across the 13 local government areas in the state, and has also adopted routine immunization to check prevalence of the disease. This is to bridge gap and ensure that girls within the age group of 9 to 14 who are not sexually active get immunized. The stakeholders meeting therefore provides platform to review the 2023 vaccination exercise and strategies to step up the campaign to ensure no girl child between age 9 to 14 is left out in the immunization exercise.
So during the introduction, our target was on 238,216,000 girls 9 to 14 years. And the National Health Supply was with all the required vaccines, so we'll be able to vaccinate more than 238 girls 9 to 14 years in the state.
The state integrated those activities into the already existing routine immunization schedule, as well as leveraging on other program activities like MNCHB.
Already, Lafia, Karo, and Wamba local government areas have been selected to conduct HPV intensification to improve their uptake on the vaccine. In Lafia, Victoria Kaswa-Ojito, Nta News.
As part of growing concerns on the dangers of blood cancer and associated risk, a non-governmental organization, Aisha Abba Abdullahi Memorial Foundation, is raising the bar on the advocacy of the dangers of blood cancer and the struggle for survival by victims. Ruth Aguela reports that this was during the unveiling of a book titled 8 Months by Husseina Baba Ina in Abuja.
Imagine this. A mother watching her child battle cancer, desperate and exhausted, knowing that every day, every treatment, every unit of blood gives her hope that her child would make it through one more day.
The heart cry of a mother, one out of many who watch their loved ones suffer from leukemia with no hope for survival. These stakeholders have gathered to lend their voices, to give their support and raise awareness on the risk associated with blood cancer, the pain survivors go through, and the importance of blood donation. The Aisha Abba Abdullahi Memorial Foundation is leading the campaign with the unveiling of the book titled 8 Months. It tells the story of the struggle of a young girl whose battle for survival from leukemia at different stages for 8 months until her last breath.
It highlights the struggle of cancer survivors and their relatives in the aftermath of cancer diagnosis. The challenges with the healthcare concludes with the recommendation for improving the laws of cancer survivors in Nigeria.
Nigeria, with a population of over 200 million, needs about 1.5 to 1.8 million pints of blood to cater annually for this population. This is why we have come together with a mission to establish a private blood bank, a place that doesn't just store blood but offers hope every single day for those in need.
It's a woman
who suffered a great tragedy. Out of the ashes of this tragedy, something good is going to come out. And she brought out something very, very good.
As the dialogue continues, it is a call to action on combating the scourge of the disease through collective efforts to give hope to victims who continue to struggle for survival, as well as having access to safe and quality blood. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, Nta News.
And the Speaker House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas via sworn-in led a symbolic work against gender-based violence in commemoration of this year's International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. The walk brought together hundreds of participants, including House of Representatives members of the public from the National Assembly to the headquarters of the Nigeria Police Force. Speaker Abbas says it demonstrates the resolve of the National Assembly to demand decisive action to safeguard vulnerable populations and ensure accountability for perpetrators of gender-based violence.
Against women violence that will be coming up very soon. We will send our representatives who will also participate actively in ensuring that robust policies are enacted that will significantly reduce the incidence of violence of all kinds against women, against children, against girls.
This demonstration of solidarity with victims of gender-based violence will culminate in the submission of a petition to the Inspector General of Police by the House. Now, the Deputy President of the Senate, Barao Jibrin, is emphasizing the need for the endowed to continue to see the plight of the less privileged, especially orphans, in order to rekindle their hope and afford them the opportunity to contribute meaningfully to the society. This was at a function in Abuja hosted by Senator Solomon Olamilekan Adeola as Chadis holds 2024 World Orphans Day. The French Embassy in Nigeria has donated 600,000 euros to the Organization of Nigerian Teachers of French Language to support the organization and facilitate capacity building training of French language educators in Nigeria. This was made known during the Embassy's celebration of French Teachers Day and a project evaluation session. Suleiman Abdul Wahab reports.
The Prof de Français, meaning French Teachers Day. This is what is written everywhere in this gathering, underscoring Embassy's commitment to supporting French language education in the country, fostering the cultural exchanges and promoting the development of skills that are increasingly valuable in globalized world.
He arrived a few months ago, but he already spoke about his willingness to create more partnerships with again states that are willing to invest in the French language. And again, it's not so much about the French language per se, but it's really about employability, opportunities, and openness on the world. So that's what it is about.
Well, the Embassy of France for this project gave us 600,000 euros. So the project has three components. We have the reinforcement of the skills of the secondary school teachers. We are also called upon to build a university center in the Badagry French village. We have been able to do trainings for some Francophone journalists to help improve, their way of reporting.
The gathering serves as a platform for the academia to discuss areas of mutual interest, explore opportunities for greater cooperation, and identify ways of strengthening the teaching and learning of French language in Nigeria.
When the French government sponsors project through the embassy, there's an agreement, they call it protocol d'accord. You sign a protocol, an agreement, the MOU actually, on how to go about the project. And then as the program is going, the release fund, you give periodic reports. And their own report is not that letter of honor, letter of authority or something. You write, you back it up with the receipts, with the money you spend, with bank statements, and then people know that, yes, this money has been spent with pictures.
We are grateful to the French embassy here in Abuja
and also in Nigeria, because they have been very supportive of French language learning.
There is a saying that if you talk to a man in a language he understands, it goes to his head. And if you talk to him in his language, it goes to his heart. So the embassy is also organizing activities like sports, food, art and entertainment to back the French learning process. In Abuja, Suleiman Tobu Abdulwahab, Nta News.
President Bola Tinubu has described Professor Ibrahim Gambari as one of the few national icons whose global footprints represent a remarkable asset for Nigeria. The president was a special guest of honor at the 80th birthday celebration of Professor Gambari, former Chief of Staff to former President Muhammadu Buhari. Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara reports that the president, represented by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, extolled the virtues of the octogenarian as a key player in the evolution of modern Nigeria, whose footprints have impacted significantly on diplomacy, democracy and national development.
He's had such an illustrious career, and we are all proud of him. The president is absolutely proud of the services he has rendered for our country, and the president wishes him many more years of great service to our dear country. Nigerians should look up to the best among them. We have so many people that have offered so much to not just Nigeria but to the entire world. Professor Gambari is one of them. We feel that the kind of service he has rendered is worthy of emulation. The present message is that we should all be patient. Nigeria is not a bad place. It is a very promising country. We, of course, have our challenges. These challenges will come and go, and like every developing country, like every country that is also going through this kind of transformation, this kind of progression, patience is the key.
The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission, NCPC, Bishop Stephen Adegbite, has visited Israel and Jordan in preparation for the 2024 main pilgrimage exercise scheduled to commence in December. In a statement, Bishop Adegbite used the one-week event to hold strategic meetings with relevant stakeholders at the Embassy of Nigeria in Tel Aviv, Israel. The meeting provided an opportunity for the Executive Secretary of NCPC to assess the state of preparedness for the main pilgrimage exercise on the part of the service providers and the Commission. Bishop Adegbite also utilized the visit to some of the holy sites in Jerusalem, including the Wailing Wall, where he prayed for the success of the forthcoming pilgrimage exercise and for the prosperity of Nigeria, the good health of President Bola Tinubu, leaders at all levels. Bishop Adegbite also toured other holy sites, including churches of biblical importance, to the pilgrimage exercise. Bishop Adegbite also proceeded to Amman, Jordan, where he met with the Jordanian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ayman Safadi, as well as the Nigerian ambassador to Jordan, Ambassador Kanfut Umaru, to ensure the necessary logistics are put in place for a successful pilgrimage. You're watching the news at 10 on Nta News24. Here is a quick look at our major stories. Minister of Works urges agencies to unlock new sources of funds to reduce dependency on federal allocations. Medical experts champion promising future for conjoined twins. Dangote refinery reduces price of petrol to 970 naira per litre. Excellent leadership qualities at subnationals pivotal to renewed hope delivery leadership, experts emphasize.
How do we bring the hope President Tinubu is talking about on the economy, on our political system?
And on the foreign news, Iran to meet with Germany, France and UK nuclear talks. UK urges NATO allies to stay ahead of AI arms race. Details with Garba Natala.
Officials of the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, are in Tehran, capital of Iran. The officials from France, Germany, and the United Kingdom came following reports of nuclear program in the country, denouncing Iran for lack of cooperation. A resolution was earlier passed by 19 countries out of the 35 members of IAEA voted to censure Iran, while 12 countries abstained. Russia, China, and Burkina Faso vetoed against the resolution. Media sources, however, say leaked reports from the IAEA indicates that Iran is close to 90% threshold needed to produce a nuclear warhead. Addressing NATO's Cyber Defense Conference in London, British Cabinet Office Minister Pat McFadden warns that Russian cyber criminals are increasingly targeting countries that support Ukraine and insist Britain and its NATO allies must stay ahead in the new AI arms race. McFadden will unveil Britain's plans to set up a new laboratory for artificial intelligence security to help create better cyber defense tools and organize intelligence on attacks. McFadden will call on the US-led military alliance, businesses and institutions to do everything they can to lock their own digital doors to protect themselves from what he called an increasingly aggressive Russia. Moscow has previously denied that it carries out cyber attacks, and officials have cast such accusations as attempts to incite anti-Russian sentiment. The European Union (EU) has recalled its ambassador from Niger for consultations in Brussels following tensions with the country's transitional authorities regarding EU humanitarian aid for flood victims in the West African nation. A statement by Niger's transitional authorities challenged the modalities and management of humanitarian aid in the country. In response, EU spokesperson expressed profound disagreement with Niger's allegations, viewing it as direct challenge to EU's management of its humanitarian support. Consequently, the EU decided to recall its ambassador.
Ahead of the 8th Triennial Delegates Conference of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, the Daily Atumbi presidential campaign team has arrived at Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital. Comrade Atumbi says he is poised to reposition a journalism profession and take it to an enviable height. Omar Basiedet has the report.
The presidential campaign train landed at the NUJ Press Center, Uyo, with the Akwa Ibom State Chairman of the NUJ, Amos Etuk, and other members on ground to receive them. Presidential candidate Dele Atumbi took time to reel out his plans for the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, with welfare of members topping his list.
We want to ensure training and retraining of our members. We want to ensure that there will be media salary structure to improve on the welfare of journalists in this country. We equally want to ensure that we maintain the integrity of journalism practice in Nigeria. The future is very bright, and journalists in Nigeria should be hopeful. All we need to do is to put in place the right leadership.
NUJ Chairman Akwa Ibom State, Amos Etuk, on his part, is optimistic about the outcome of the forthcoming Triennial Delegates Conference of the NUJ, as well as the future of the journalism profession.
Ours as delegates is to listen to the platforms of what every candidate has to offer and make the very best decision when we get to Owerri. So we believe that at the end of the day, the greatest beneficiary will be the strength of the union and standing tall at the end of it, because we must come out of that China Delegates Conference in unity.
High point was the presentation of campaign materials by the Rejuvenation campaign team to the Akwa Ibom State Council of the NUJ. In Uyo, Umar Basidet, NTA News.
Abuja is often referred to as the seat of power, but who says it can't be also the seat of fun and entertainment? Because for the first time in almost a decade, the Abuja International Carnival re-emerged and served the city and its people with scintillating experience. Daniel Aderiye was there for all of the sights and sounds at the official flag off, and now tells us more.
Culture, a bond that sticks firmer than glue, so much that if and when properly harnessed,
could be a galvanizing tool for national unity.
Unifying power and culture. On display here is a direction of what we can achieve when we work together. It is also hard for me to see the participation of our friends from Africa and beyond. Their presence reaffirms that culture transcends boundaries, and it is through cultural exchange that we build bridges of understanding, friendship, and shared humanity. It is my great honor and privilege on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to officially declare the 2024 Abuja International Carnival.
And with that, the gates for the Abuja International Carnival were thrown open, and everyone who was someone came in for a fun-filled experience.
We expect happiness, youth empowerment, we expect people to be happy, economic improvement, and a good city of Abuja.
We are here for free testing and counseling and to link people to our health facilities for medication if they test positive. We're also counseling them on how to live positive, for those that have HIV, and for those, the general population that are negative, how to stay negative.
The kids were not left out, as they too saw the children beam with boldness and strength as they jumped, wriggled and swayed to beats of cultural heritage.
Today we came in and it was a carnival, so basically we were having fun, I would say.
I've always held that belief that play, recreation is so important in childhood for their development, and my son is playing around, he's so excited to be here, and we think it's a good initiative.
8 states are represented at this year's carnival, including the FCT. Other side attractions at the carnival included a bikers parade, the Durbar, and of course, lots and lots of food. In Abuja, Daniel Adiriye, Nta News.
Now let's join our sport desk for sports update.
Former champions Rivers United are back to the top of the 2024-2025 Nigeria Premier Football League table thanks to a 1-0 win over Abia Warriors in Port Harcourt on Sunday, while Remo Stars suffered a 2-0 defeat away at Katsina United. Indreke Effiong scored a 58-minute penalty to help finish the judgment of their stubborn visitors and grab their first win in 6 matches. For Katsina United, it was also a return to winning ways after losing 2-1 at home against Ikorodu City 2 weeks ago. Midfielder Aziz Falulu scored his 4th goal of the season for the Tangier Boys opener against Remo in the second half, and Boslam Dawi added the second to seal a 2-0 win. Meanwhile, Anthony Okachi also scored his 2nd goal in consecutive games as his lone goal powered 3SC to a 1-0 win over Bayelsa United in Ibadan. In just a 51 minutes on goal by Nasarawa United's Shino Kumati plus another late penalty from Olawale Doyin condemned Nasarawa United to their 7th defeat of the season and also sent them to the bottom of the table. Meanwhile, Kano Pillars staged a remarkable comeback to draw 2-2 against host Lobby Stars in Makodi. Veteran midfielder Rabiu Ali put one back for Pillars in the 76th minute with his 7th goal of the season before Mustafa Umar completed the fight back 2 minutes later. The result says Kano Pillars remain 6th on the log with 19 points. Also, Nigeria International Fisayo Dele Bashiru was on target as Lazio trashed Bologna 3-0 in the Serie A on Sunday. The Super Eagles star who came on in the 86th minute scored in the 93rd minute to make it 3-0.
Shauna, counter-attack is on and Ladsari's through. Ladsari pokes it through. Isaacson for the 3rd. Ravalia brings him down and it's put away by Dele Bashiru. The Nigerian comes off the bench to score his first Serie A goal.
And that's the news at 10 and Nta News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Olajide Bello.